I have to start this out by saying that this is by no means concrete, this is by no means confirmed. I love talking about leaks and rumors, but with that topic, you always have to approach it with a fair bit of skepticism, and I really just have to start it out by saying, yeah, this is something you absolutely have to be skeptical of. Because of the source and the source's source, it's just very, I would say, unreliable. But nonetheless, it is very interesting. This isn't just a completely random person on the internet that said this. This is, from what I can tell, somebody that has, at least to some degree, established themselves in the video game industry. It's not just like a random 4chan post or, my dad works for Microsoft, kind of thing. There's some more to it, but it's still very out there. So yeah, I just have to say that. Do not say I didn't warn you, but like I said, it is still very interesting, especially if you are very interested in the Punch-Out series. And if you've ever wondered, why we haven't had a game in so long, like over a decade now. We may have actually just found out the reason, and a heavy emphasis on the word may. Okay, so you probably know about the Punch-Out series. Now, I kind of had to look into it because the only game I actually really knew of was Super Punch-Out. I remember playing this game when it had already been out for like 20 years. I was super young, and yeah. A friend had it, and you know how when you're so young you suck at playing video games? I literally thought the whole game was just Gabby J. I couldn't get past him, and then when we finally did, I thought that Bear Hugger was like the alternative final boss. Yeah, little did I know there was a lot more to the game. Now, looking into it, obviously this is an IP that is owned by Nintendo. They started out with arcade games, but then moved to console games. So basically there are three mainline games in the series. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out for the NES, released in 1987, and then Super Punch-Out for the Super Nintendo, released in 1994, and then just a game called Punch-Out, which was for the Wii, and that was released in 2009. That was 15 years ago, or 16 if you want to be super technical, now that we are in 2025. We haven't had anything since then, since 2009. Really, other than Little Mac being in Super Smash Bros. I mean, that's pretty much it. And yeah, since then, I think all we've really had is just theories. I don't think Nintendo has necessarily came out and just said point blank what they're wanting to do with this series, or if they have plans for the future, or why it's taken so long to make a new game, if they are going to make a new game. Well, here is where today's rumor comes in. Today's very interesting piece of information that, like I said, is not concrete. This comes from a guy named Imran Khan. Now, he works for something called Kinda Funny Games. This is like a YouTube channel and just kind of like a media company that focuses on video games. They've got about 300,000 subscribers, so, by no means not the biggest video game channel ever, but they definitely have their footing, and so I'm sure they kind of have their ties, so to speak, with people in the video game industry. Well, back on Christmas Eve, so just about a week or two ago, there was a post on the Reset Era forum that talked about the Punch-Out series. It kind of talked about the 2009 Wii version of Punch-Out, and, kind of one of those posts like, where's the sequel? Well, Imran actually, it looks like, has a profile on this forum, and he actually gave his take on why they haven't had a new installment in Punch-Out. Now, remember how I said that he might have, certain ties in the video game industry? Well, according to his post, and this is where it kind of gets interesting, he got this insight from somebody who worked at a studio close to Punch-Out. I would assume this means this person works for or worked at Next Level Games. This is the development studio behind the recent installment. And he learned this information, I don't know how many years ago, but it was from this person. Now, this was not at E3 or a closed doors meeting at the Next Level Games headquarters. No, this was actually allegedly at a bar, just pounding drinks. Yeah, according to him, he got an employee of this studio that has ties with Punch-Out drunk one night at a bar and learned the reason why they have not had a sequel in the series. Now you're maybe understanding why I said you got to approach this with some skepticism, because on one hand you have to be skeptical that this even happened, but then on the other hand, you have to be skeptical of, even if it did happen, is this guy telling the truth? People can say crazy things when they're drunk, so who knows? But according to him, this person said that the reason they have not had a new installment is because allegedly, and this also, the reason is very interesting and very crazy, allegedly Nintendo did not like the supposed backlash that they got from stereotypes that were portrayed from the characters in their 2009 Punch-Out game. And I guess what he means by that is like racial stereotypes. Yeah, I guess Nintendo did not like that there was some outcry over very stereotypical racist characters in this 2009 Punch-Out game. And that to me is also a bit shady, because I don't recall this game ever having much, if any, of an outcry. But it could be one of those things where maybe he's misunderstanding it, maybe there was some sort of a mistranslation. Maybe it had more to do with like, oh, we foresee this being a problem in the future. You know, maybe if a game like that came out in 2025, maybe it wouldn't be received too well. But he also did say that the other reason why this may have happened, I don't think he heard this from the drunk guy, but this is just his perspective, is because the development studio Next Level Games, they apparently make other games that do even better than what Punch-Out did. And yeah, it looks like they have worked on some Luigi's Mansion games along with Metroid Prime. Those maybe push out better numbers. But mainly what this alleged drunk guy said is that, yeah, it was all about these stereotypes from the 2009 Punch-Out. Now, if you get past all of the skepticism and if you assume that this is actually the reason behind this, I guess, cancellation of the series, you could say that maybe it could kind of make sense. Like I said, maybe Nintendo did see that whole stereotype thing. Maybe they foresaw that as being more of a problem. As, you know, things go on and things get more, I guess, politically correct. They didn't want the controversy, I guess, maybe. But the other thing, too, is that, you know, maybe Nintendo now just has other IPs that are similar to Punch-Out that they believe more in. I know they have the ARMS game. I think that did pretty well. Yeah, it is really just one of those things that unless Nintendo ever comes out and says, hey, here is the legitimate reason why we haven't had any Punch-Out games, unless that happens, we will never know for sure. It's kind of just down to these rumors. And like I said, this rumor you really have to take with a grain of salt. Yeah, don't say I didn't warn you. This one definitely is a shaky one. It comes from a guy who heard it from a guy who was drunk. Yeah, that is definitely not set in stone. That's not confirmed. So as for no Punch-Out in the past 15 years, as of why that is, whether this is the real reason why, or maybe it's part of the reason why, or maybe even none of the reasons why, we may never know, but one thing is probably for certain at this point. Nintendo does not seem interested to make Punch-Out games anytime soon, if at all. You know, though I have faith in some games, some revivals going forward, like Banjo-Kazooie from Microsoft, I don't think Punch-Out is a game that Nintendo is going to resurrect anytime soon. Don't hold your breath for it.